I'm Dr. Bart Rademacher, and this is Prescription for Your Transformation. Real people, real conversations, and real success. Super excited to be talking to Shara Ogin again. This is the third interview in a series of three, talking about what she does so brilliantly well, and this absolutely magnificent book that she's come out with. I mean, it's a must-have on your bookshelf. Well, actually, not just on your bookshelf, in your lap, reading it, because it's going to reveal to you the wisdom that you have within so that you can begin that process to heal the things that must be healed for you. Because that's what this is all about. I mean, whatever it is you believe about your life, whatever it is that you believe about religion or past lives or ancestors or karmic, debts and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the truth is that if somebody's thought of this, there's some element of truth in there somewhere. And so if this element of truth can support you and help you make the kinds of transformation you want to make in your life, then it's an absolute must. And certainly, I will totally endorse what she talks about, because I think I'm giddy just getting this book and reading about it, because it's stuff that I talk about, even though I'm one of those scientifically minded doctors who've trained for 17 years and been practicing for a long time. As with her, she recognized the importance of medicine, but there's a grander world, if you will, or dimension that can help us healing from within. Shara, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
So today is about purpose. And one of the things that I recognize in a lot of people is that, as a coach and trained in neurolinguistic programming and done energy healing and all that kind of stuff, is that we all have a compelling future, call it purpose or mission in life. But most people are just simply unaware of it. And so I'd love to hear your perspective of purpose and mission, or purpose and passion, as you put it, in people's lives, and how you help them access that. Because the truth is that, if you're just going to go in the rut of life, you're doing the daily grind, you're doing the thing over and over again, unconscious of what's magnificent about you and what service you can deliver to the world, you're really missing out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll just start by saying we all have a unique, individuated purpose here on this planet. Very few of us have fully stepped into it. Whatever your job is, that's only part of it. And so I am an empowerment coach for you to step fully into what you're put onto this planet to be doing. Now, often when people come to work with me as an intuitive coach, they have goals and aspirations. I'm always like, what do you want to work on? Where do you want to get to? We create that vision. And I'm like, great. However, then they usually think we're going to just work right on that. But no, because there's often these blocks and barriers that are very deep in the system that are creating so that it's just not possible at this time. So this is my secret sauce. As a clairvoyant and as a coach, an intuitive person, I have the ability to go in and see beyond what that person could see. Maybe they have two values that are competing against one another, their value towards freedom versus their value towards success. And they could counteract or contradict one another and make it so that the person actually cannot succeed in that. So part of what we're talking about is what this person wants and their desires and what they're meant to be doing on this planet. So all of that we're going to talk about right here. Now, if, let's just say, even if you don't believe in past lives or anything like that, let's just say hypothetically, just stick with me here, even if you don't believe this stuff, that before you come into incarnation, into a physical body, all the spirits are figuring out, well, what is this person meant to be doing on this planet? And say you're meant to be an Olympic athlete or a physician that creates something that a vaccine that heals the world. Now, if it was just like, here, just go on here and here's all the information you need to get there, then life would be easy and there would be no evolution, no contrast, and no expansion. Life doesn't work that way. Usually, the almighty spirits think, okay, well, what does this person need to learn in order to become that, in order to have a soft, open heart? I needed to learn the journey of having a heart that was very hurt, having a baby, and then getting to this trajectory of opening my heart, which actually was my last little nugget I needed to get inside of myself before I started to really powerfully do the work I'm doing right now in the world. So my point is that It's like turning the rock over. There's something that is, there's like blocks and barriers that are our life journey. We'll call it our negative imprint that we're here to learn the lessons of. And when we learn the lessons, and shazam, it's just right there. You become that award-winning what athlete or whatever you're meant to be doing. Oftentimes we think we're meant to be doing something, but really in order to get to there, it's really a journey to get to finding whatever this is. Now, here's the important piece is that when we don't learn whatever this lesson is before we need to learn to get there, it often presents as pain, ailments, and diagnoses or injuries in your body. So the focus of this book is going into the injuries and what is lying beneath, what's lying underneath. And often, as we go through the journey of healing these chronic conditions or long time conditions, then as we do that, we actually are stepping into our highest light and our highest purpose. How about that?
I love it. I
That's
mean,
beautiful.
think about it this way, is that, we have a matrix, and in our minds, if you will, of what our life is supposed to be, or call it a blueprint, if you like. I mean, we have this blueprint of life. And when that blueprint, and when reality, I guess, does not match that blueprint, I mean, we're unhappy. And as a result of that unhappiness, so many things happen and we all fall apart, and our body falls apart and our mind falls apart, and how we interact with the world around us falls apart. There's a great phrase that I love, is that what's wrong is always available, and so is what's right. And as per Viktor Frankl saying, the last freedom of man is the freedom to choose how you feel in any given moment. And so that's the whole point. We've got this choice that we should want to exert so that we can become that best version of ourselves in the greatest of service to the world around us. And that's then our purpose, is it not?
Mm-hmm. It could be, yeah.
So I mean, but it manifests itself in all the different ways, right? As an athlete or an astronaut or whatever. But you see, in my world, my perspective is, we want to be that best version of ourselves, so that we can fulfill that karmic, what responsibility, is that what you call it?
Mm-hmm. You could call it that. I've never used that term, but our soul's journey, let's call it. Okay, here's a perspective for you. We all have hardships, whether you're abused as a child or raped or living in poverty. We all have our own personal journey,
Or living in wealth. That could be a thing.
Yeah, wealth could be your journey. Whatever it is, we could look back and take the victim hat and be like, oh, poor me, this is going on. Or we could put on a different perspective and understand like why we have been given these cards. So I'm just going to kind of probably jump to where I should be talking about in the end. So I have a workbook. So it's a book and a workbook. In the workbook, the very grand finale exercise is the life purpose exercise. In that, and you could actually just think about this right now, I have people list, what are your greatest hardships in your life? So the things like I just mentioned, okay? And then you have to take a perspective, step back. And sometimes it actually helps to do this with a partner to understand the why. So I do this with clients. I'm trying to understand why this happened. And then I have it's like an 8-step process for how they go into journaling exercise. And then at the very end, I have them imagine, who would you be if this thing was overcome? The wounding you've had from all the rapes and being abused as a child. If you healed from that, then what would that look and feel like, right? Okay, just imagine anybody. It's good to think of a specific example for this one. And then, wow, and now there they are in that light, the freedom. They could actually open the heart. They could actually allow intimacy in again, for instance. And then in that place, then what could they be doing? And then it's so much easier to imagine what this person could be doing out there in the world, whether it's how they interact with their family, how they interact with people on the outside, and what career they actually step into.
I mean, it's really the story of the hero's journey, right? It's overcoming the challenges and the obstacles.
Yeah.
Slaying the dragon. And unfortunately, as most people see it, I mean, they feel that that's the end of it. No, the end of it is you coming back to your community and sharing that wisdom and making a difference for others, so that, getting them the tools and resources to overcome these things, as well, perhaps more easily. But you're right. I mean, for us to expand, for us to evolve, I mean, we have to meet this tension. Without tension in life, I mean, we become complacent. I mean, we actually kind of wither away. So
Yeah.
the truth
Well, here's the
is,
cool thing. This is
go
really
ahead.
important that when you are doing it, that, for instance, your purpose, when you're living that, it then comes easy. You know what I mean? Like, think about like Olympic athletes and, as a like skier, for instance, I'm a skier. Oh, I'm working so hard. And you're thinking they must be working so hard, but no, they are working hard, but it's actually just like, people who are rocking it in their business and doing really well. No, it's actually easier because it just comes naturally when you're just in your joie de bois, your flow, your natural flow.
Yeah, until the next mission shows up. Or the
Yeah.
next,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Constant.
that's
That's
hard
the nature of
again.
desire. And you know what the nature of desire is when there's something you really want, like for instance, getting this book done, for instance. Oh my God, it was supposed to be launched like months ago. One wall comes down and then another wall and then another wall. And then Amazon rejected it. And then they rejected it. And they rejected it again. It's like, boom, just another wall. And so it's like this fighting, like, and then there it is. So yes, that's the nature of desire.
Well, tell
You have
us,
to really
tell us
want it.
the inspiration behind the book and the journey of your book, because I know there's people out there that are, thinking about writing their own book. And
Yeah.
so to share with us your journey, and I'll share
Well,
a little bit with
it's
mine.
been really a 4-year journey on writing this book,
Mhm,
and one that's taken me a way longer time than I
mhm,
actually really wanted to spend towards this book. But one of my impetuses for writing this book is when I was working with people, like as a coach and an intuitive, I would do a reading on them or even do a Feldenkrais session on them, and their pain would go away.
mhm,
So as I release the physiological state from the somatic work I do, or the emotional state through either a coaching session or a coaching session that goes really in there and deep, maybe it's NLP and other things, or a psychic session, their pain would literally almost go away. And so I have one client, for instance, with Lyme disease, and she feels like she can't get a job because of her pain. But I'm like, but if your pain goes away almost after every session, then how could that be true? And maybe we could figure out some ways for to instill some of these practices that we're doing right here so that it lasts longer and then you could do more. We form an identity around pain when we've been in pain for a very long time. So it actually, this is one of the exercises in the workbook too. In order to break through pain, you actually have to change everything about you. You have to change an identity. And when you change your identity, that's really uncomfortable.
yep. And that is so true. And that's one thing that you and I have learned, through the years of coaching, that nothing changes until the identity changes. And that's where we need people, brilliant people like yourself, to help people understand the possibility and how actually easy it is to change the identity. Doesn't mean you deny or ignore, everything that was in the past. I mean, all of that has helped you get to where you are today. And quite frankly, people who understand this will say, the worst times have become the best times, because they were the teachers and the mentors to where they are today and the successes that they are today. When you look at any really successful business, you'll find out, that all the failures and challenges and trials and tribulations they've had throughout that process. I'm sure you've had the same thing with your book. I mean, it's interesting. I had the same thing with mine. It took me a year to write my book. It's a little different than yours. It's about habits, and where I teach people about, or introduce 52 different habits for people, and they try one new one every single week that will absolutely transform their lives. Kind of in the same, way, kind of the same kind of work that you're doing, but doing it more, I would say, somatically, if you will. So, okay, start doing these things, and your life is going to change. And you're doing that deep dive. The same
Yeah.
thing. I have this training program for doctors in regenerative medicine. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be really easy. Going to do it with a couple of months. Well, I'm still 12 months into it, and I haven't quite finished, but it's there. And so the point is that, as I like to put it in referring to one of the Greek philosophers, Seneca, is that it's not that we fear that things are difficult. We should fear that they're not difficult enough. And it's exactly that. That's your soul journey, overcoming these challenges. That's why you're put here on earth, so that you can expand and help others. Well, I really want to thank you for today, Shara. I mean, your work is absolutely brilliant. And what I love about what you've done, and in a sense, it's a similar journey to mine, is that you've brought a lot of different dimensions together
Yeah.
so that you can really, find a beautiful, matrix, using that word again, matrix, to help people understand where they're at, and what position they are in their life right now, and how to make those transformations by recognizing all the different elements and all the connecting the dots, and see where you can, interject so that you can help them transform. And what's important for people to understand with the work that she does, she just shows you the way. You're the one that actually ends up doing the work. So it's no kind of crazy medicine, that you have no control over. It's where she helps you see the truth. It helps you to heal from within. So I'd like to give you the last word for today.
Okay. Well, so one of the points in my book is that you could heal your ailments or pain or wherever you're off balance through the physiological body. Literally, just all of you right now could just, bring your shoulders back. They're a little bit more than that. You want it so that it changes at a subcortical level, but also at the emotional, psychosocial level. So we want the integration of both for a person to fully come back into alignment and balance. One of my specialties as a psychic coach is to actually see precisely what it is, what layer of the system is blocking a person from being their highest and full self. And then I'm so passionate about helping to clear these blocks and helping a person to step into their fullest potential. So thank you for this time today.
No, thank you so much. And once again, how do people find you?
So my website is sharaogin.com, SHARAOGIN.com. It's my email as well, sharaogin@gmail.com. And my book is located on Amazon and at Barnes and Nobles. And it's also, if you go to my website, you also see.
And the name of the book again is Unlocking the Body's Wisdom, Accessing Your Healing Power from Within. What a great book and what a great resource. Everybody needs to get one and change your lives. So Shara, thank you so much again. This has been a delightful experience with you as always. I met you at Burning Man, an incredible event. Just bummed that it didn't happen last year. It's going to happen next year. It better happen next year, because that is also a transformative place. It's a place of all dimensions coming together and allowing us to have access to where we need to go in our lives. So thank you once again. I'm Dr. Bart Rademacher. This is Prescription for Your Transformation, Real People, Real Conversations, and Real Success, bringing to you the wisdom from all over the world so that you can make the shifts for you, because it's all about what you don't know that you don't know that's going to make all the difference. And talking to people like Shara and reading her book is what's going to help you. So thank you, and I will be back.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Dr. Rademacher's Prescription for Your Transformation. Continue the path towards discovering your own authentic genius by tuning in next time for more real conversations with real people.